Hey everyone, it's Andrea, the martial arts woman. I hope you're having a great night tonight. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Here I am at home. I had a busy day. I hope you were productive today. I did a lot of things today. Got a lot done today. Hi everybody coming on. How are you? Robert Taylor, hi there. I'm just gonna chit chat a few minutes. Hi William. We're going to talk tonight about the power of the positive martial artist, what we can do as martial artists to be powerful because we're positive. And I think it's a great topic because, we know our world today is so full of negativity. There's so many difficult things going on. Hi, Steve, how are you? And so I think it's important to talk about how we can be more positive as martial artists, as instructors, to help change the world. I know I have this huge initiative. Hi, Mary. I have this huge initiative to make the world a better place. And I think that we can all do that if we work together. And I hope that at least you want to consider some of the ways that you can make the world a more positive place. Hi, everybody coming on. I'm not going to catch everybody's names. Mark, how are you? Thank you everyone. Tony, I know I missed a couple in there and I will definitely go back and give you guys a couple likes, but just stopping by to talk today about the power of the positive martial artist, what we can do in a positive way to help change our world. And I think there's some great initiatives going on right now in the martial art community. I think there's a little more awareness these days about how we can do positive things with our time as far as teaching and who we're teaching and what we're teaching. So these are great messages, and that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. So hi Danny, how are you? And Sean, thank you for stopping by. Hi Mark, hope you're having a good night. Hi Danny, yes, Sensei Bolden, never stop training, that's right. I try to do that myself, right? Anyway, I don't have a place to train right now, so it's training here at home by myself, which is not the best thing for me because I like the dynamic of a group or people around me. But trust me, I'm still working on it. I don't want to give that up. So let's talk about the power of the positive martial artist. As I mentioned earlier, there's some great initiatives going on out there right now. Some people on Facebook are working toward trying to make the world a better place. Hi Ted, how are you? Sounds like great travels. So there are definitely some martial artists out there right now who are trying to make some positive changes. Some are focusing on bullying aspects, and of course we have bullying issues throughout the world, different countries, and there's always something we can do as martial artists to help that. Just teaching kids in general, it is great because we're teaching them how to take care of themselves, how to have self-defense. But what do we do about these kids who maybe they're homeless, maybe they have nowhere to train? These are great things to think about. And I know there are definitely some people out there who are working on initiatives to try to bring together people to work on training kids who are homeless or have nowhere to go. And I've told the story many times about how I taught at a low-income community center back in the 90s for 7 years, and it was probably one of the best things I ever did as far as a martial artist, as far as an instructor. Thanks Ted, thanks for stopping by. So the first thing I want to talk about is being the example. If we want to see positive results, we want to see positive reactions to those around us, we need to be the example. So we need to be the person who's striving to be positive first, I guess you might say. We need to pave the way to get everybody on board to being a little more positive in their outlook, to bringing people together, to understanding that we're all in this together. And that's what's great about being a group of martial artists, is that we all have a way to touch each other's lives. We have different things to offer each other. I have my little positivity movement using martial arts and positivity as a way to better the world. Others have things that they're doing to help bullying, whatever it might be. Some are trying to get into like Salvation Army and different things to teach for free. So these are all wonderful endeavors that we can do as martial artists. They're very positive, they're very powerful. You know, not everyone can afford to pay for lessons sometimes. Not everyone can drive to that nice neighborhood and take classes. What are we doing in those other areas? And I think that's something that we can all think about. And if we can't do it, to help promote those who are working on those initiatives and maybe give them a shout out or try to share some of what they're doing. That's one way that we can step in and help and create that positive help for others. The other thing that we can do is apply those great tenets of martial arts, not just in the martial arts school, but in your homes, in your communities, in your attitude, your own behaviors. This is about, you know, using things like humility. What is humility these days? Does anybody have humility anymore? People tend to think humility means just giving up everything and just, you know, saying I'm not worthy. That's not what humility is. Hi, Chris. Chris's page is in line with this, he said, so we'll have to check it out, Chris Rossman. Humility is not, I'm not worthy, you know. Humility is still striving for your own personal success, your own personal greatness, just not at the expense of, you know, hurting others or drawing others through that. It's about respect, and it's about treating others the way you want to be treated. So humility is just stepping back and assessing, and not boasting and not bragging, but, you know, being positive about who you are. Because, you know, I mean, if you look at my page, I'm on there every day posting photos and posting blogs and thoughts. And, you know, is there humility in that? I think there's humility in that, because my message is not about me as much as it is about you. And so that's how we sort of create a positive sense of humility. I think that we can all do that. There's nothing wrong with it. Hi, Clark, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. We're talking about the power of the positive martial artist tonight. So Chris said compassion is something that's missing. I think some of those initiatives that I talked about a few minutes ago are a great example of compassion. People who want to step up and make changes for things like bullying that are going on in the world today. So there is a sense of compassion. We need to make it alive again. We need to bring it back. We need to let it trend, you know. We need to remember other people and what they're doing, and just do our parts. You know, we don't have to do something amazing. You know, I don't need to hop on an airplane and fly to another country and, you know, jump into something over there. You know, I have things going on in my own neighborhood, my own community, where I could make a positive change. And, you know, the positive change and the compassion and the humility, it begins with us. We need to take that look in and decide who we want to be as a martial artist. So thank you, Chris, who said I'm doing wonderful works, and I'm sure you are too. There's so many of us who are really trying to make positive change. And Clark says at the Wing Chun Temple, they love my perspective of martial arts, and I appreciate that so much. It's just, you know, and what's strange is it's really my own perspective, and I realize that I'm one of the few people who actually do something like this, and I don't know how it even came about, but, you know, it was just a natural philosophy for me. So thank you so much. So humility, we have compassion, integrity. You know, integrity is, you know, being that person that you want to be and being that person that you want to see in other people. We do this in martial arts when we're teaching and we're standing up there teaching other people. Hi, Pat, how are you? Long time no see. When we're standing up in front of a group of people and we're teaching, that sense of integrity is something that is seen. You know, it's not really something we talk about. Hey, I have integrity. No, it's about your words and actions. People see that. Your students see that, your family, your friends, your communities. So integrity is just being that person that you want to be and the person that you want to see in others, you know, so they react back to you in the same positive way that you deal with them. Hi, Mark. Mark's going to work out with me. Perseverance is another. Hi, Corey. How are you? Perseverance is one of those things that's lacking in our world today also. I have some weird lighting stuff going on across my face. So perseverance is something I think is lacking today because, let me move up so I don't have that big light behind my head. Because everything's so instantaneous, right? No one wants to wait for anything. And I think that when we talk about McDojos and people have all these conversations about other martial artists and how they're teaching or handing out black belts, I think that the problem really is the lack of perseverance and the lack of patience. And everybody's so used to instantaneous results that they also want instantaneous black belts. They also want... Hi, George. Thank you. I was talking about some initiatives, and George is probably working on some of those. So, you know, perseverance, patience, our world just doesn't have that anymore. It's so instantaneous. Everything is right now. You know, I want to watch something on Netflix. I just pick it out, and it starts for me whenever I want it. And so, you know, we have a new generation of people, of adults who are used to that instantaneous situation. So I think that martial arts are one of the ways that we can preserve, microwave society. Martial arts are one of the ways that we can preserve perseverance and patience. And, you know, if you're teaching martial arts and you really help your students learn and take the time to do what they need to do for your system, whatever it might be, without cutting corners, but giving them opportunities to grow and being positive with them and pushing them through, then, you know, you're teaching them this valuable lesson of perseverance that is not going to exist anymore if we don't help it exist. People want to give up on their own personal problems, or they want to give up on what's happening around them and not take responsibility and not stand up and say, there's something I can do. And if more of us start saying that, like George and you know, some of the different friends and John Silver. Hi, John. I was just talking about you. If people like George and John and others can stand up and say, there's something I can do and I'm going to take responsibility and I'm going to do it, that is something that's lacking in the world today, whether it's for our personal mission, you know, whether it's me saying, you know, I want to write a book. Well, great. It's not going to write itself. I have to decide and I have to take responsibility and say, I am going to write that book, you know. But on a bigger scale, hi, Jack, on a bigger scale, you know, we have to ask, how are we going to change the world? And everybody, yes, as John said, we can do it together. Everybody has the opportunity. Everybody has the same chances in this world to make positive changes. We all have the same opportunities, rich, poor, up, down, in between, sad, happy. We all have the opportunity and the responsibility to say, I am going to do something. What you decide to do is up to you. How you decide to do it is up to you. But are you taking the action? Are you doing what you say you're going to do? And as John said, one step at a time. So, you know, sometimes initiatives like my positivity mission and my martial art mission, sometimes they seem really big. Like I look at myself and I say, what am I talking about? I'm asking people to change the world. Are they gonna believe in me? Are they gonna trust me with this? But I'm really just asking you to do your part in some small way, some big way, and whatever way you want. It's just really a reminder. It's just really that little reminder that we can make positive changes in our world. Especially as martial artists, we get to talk to people, we get to train people, get to work out with people. On social media, we get to share stories and situations and all of these great things. And so I think that the community of martial artists, we have a really wonderful dynamic because we have the chance to really make these changes. And, you know, again, our family, our friends, our communities, we'll see what we're doing. Others will want to step up. They'll want to do their part in some way. Some people are very, very busy. Some work full time. Some have martial arts and families and all kinds of responsibilities, and so they may not have the time. They may be able to give you a monetary donation. They may be able to share one of your posts. So there are ways that you can very minimally make a difference, and then there are ways you can do it in a little bigger sense, like I am talking to you right now, or writing the books, or writing the magazine articles, or promoting positivity. So many wonderful ways that we can change the world, that we can be powerful, positive people who can actually make a difference. And I love to see everything going on right now. John asked, what about the disabled? I mean, that's a whole category in itself. There are so many pockets of needs out there, you know. You can teach disabled people, you can give talks, you know. I have a lot of positivity talks that I can do. And so there's pockets of different categories of people who may be interested, or who martial arts could touch in some way. And sometimes just telling a martial arts story is exciting for people. And I think that's why a lot of people actually follow me. Hi, Steve. I think it's because I tell these great martial arts stories. You know, it's not just look at me, although I post those because people want to see someone working out. They want to see, are you really a martial artist? So, I do post workout videos and things like that. But my main message is really what I have to say, what I have to share, the stories, the great stories. So John says he is disabled. So, there's a lot of disabled people out there. But that doesn't mean you can't do anything. You have your initiatives like you're working on. George said we need to be on the same page, and that's true. But again, you're going to have a disparity because you're going to have people with different interests. And you have to allow people the opportunity to assess their own situations and decide how they want to help. The best we can do is offer solutions, offer initiatives, offer ways to get involved. And I think a lot of us are doing that. And there are no great solutions to everything, but we have to just try. So Steve asked, how is my body holding up? His knees are gone after 35 years. Well, I've been involved in martial arts for 29 years, so not as long as you. And I am not one of those martial artists who works out constantly on martial arts. I never have been. I've done everything slowly and in moderation because I like to do other things. So I don't just do the martial arts, and I don't have any issues whatsoever, thankfully. And if I had some wood around here, I'd be knocking on wood right now. But thanks for asking. But I'm holding up pretty good, and I'm sure you are too. Anyway, so I think there's some great things that we can all do. I only ask that maybe you sit down, you think for 5 minutes sometime today about what you can do to make a difference. And again, I'm not asking anyone to do anything specific because I don't have anything specific to offer. I just try to do my little difference. But just to think about it, and maybe there's something that you can do martial art wise. Maybe you can do something, at your church or your community. You are a martial artist. You are that martial artist no matter where you go. So whether you're sitting here listening to me tonight, or whether you're going to church, or whether you're teaching at a school, or you're a construction worker, or whatever you are, you're still that same martial artist. So you still have the same opportunities to make that difference through compassion, through kindness. My mother's in an assisted living facility, and when I go in there, I often think, as a martial artist, I want to look around and I want to see these people happy. So I always smile and I talk to them, and it makes them so happy. It's just a little thing. Martial arts woman, how do you balance between work, family, and martial arts? Thank you, Clark. That is a big question. And a lot of people don't know, but I do work full time. I write for magazines on the side. I do the promotions for my book. I generally teach. I'm not teaching right now. How do I do it all? Well, I don't watch a lot of television. I watch maybe an hour of TV in the evenings. So I work and I come home, or I work and I work out, and then I come home, and then I spend a lot of the evening writing. I'm working on my third book right now. I write in my blog. I get on the social media. It's just a part of who I am, and I'm very productive. I like to get things done. So that's how I do it. I have a family, but my children are a little older. My youngest is 15 and my oldest is 24. So I have that flexibility of time now. And I was just telling someone today, you know what? I didn't start doing any of this until I was 50. I didn't start this initiative of a positive martial art kind of thing until 5 years ago when I turned 50. That's when I said, you know what, I'm turning 50. Have I done the things in my life I really wanted to do? And I was like, I have never written a book, and that's something I always wanted to do. So that's how it all kind of fell into place. 5 years later, I'm still here doing the same thing. John asked what the new book is about. So the first book is The Martial Arts Woman. That's about being a woman. It's about life, though. It's not about martial art techniques and me throwing people. 30 women contributed to that book, which was amazing. And people like Michelle Manu and Dana Stamos, and just there's like such a great list of people. And so their stories are about life. And John's, I see that. So stories about life. The second one, Martial Art Inspirations for Everyone, kind of self-explanatory. The third one is called How to Start Your Own Martial Art Program. That's probably a great book for some of these initiatives going on out there right now. People talking about getting into different centers to teach their programs. That's what this book is all about. My last teaching stint was 8 years at a YMCA. And so I tell in this book how I got my foot in the door and all the things that we did once we were there, and then try to explain how you can find a location, how you can deal with insurance, how you can deal with payments, if you charge for your program or it's free. So this third book is really one of those how-to books based on my experiences. I did that 8 years that I talked about in a low-income neighborhood back in the 90s. I did 8 years at a YMCA, and then in between I've done various other locations. I do some corporate work right now where I go into a corporate setting and teach self-defense and different martial art concepts. So, there's opportunities out there. So, as Steve said, fourth book title, Why Crazy 50-Year-Olds Still Do Martial Arts. So, yeah, we're a dying breed. So, I am here to do it as long as I can. But I think it's great that there are older folks out there doing it. I'm also very pleased that I'm still pushing through, because we don't see a lot of women out there. We see the famous women, we see the champions and the great, really wonderful, awesome masters and grandmasters. But people like me, the everyday martial artist. We don't see women in those categories very much. We see on social media, how many times have you been on the social media? And it's all men. I've been on groups, I've been on pages where it's all men. So women are still not comfortable talking about their opinions. And I'll be honest, I've been bashed, I've been criticized, I've been all those things. But, you have to have a thick skin, especially as a woman doing any of this, putting yourself out there. You have to be ready for the difficulties that are going to come with it. But you know what? I've kind of created a Facebook page where, if someone is negative for unjust reasons, just because they don't like something I say or just because they don't like something I do, they're not friends with me anymore. I need people who support me, and you need people who support you, and that's the atmosphere that I want on my social media. This is about doing it together, and this is about supporting each other. Jack said there's no age limit in martial arts. Yeah, you're right. And thank goodness for that, right? I'm really happy about that. So I think the woman topic is a great topic also. I'm guessing most people online with me right now are men. And so it'd be great to know your thoughts about, how you feel about women out there on social media. Are you supportive of them? Are you critical of them? And do you believe in them? There's so much. Thank you, George. He said he's so glad he reached out to me. I'm so happy to. But I think we really need to look at today's world. There are definitely a lot of women coming up the ranks, but there's still not a lot of women who are promoting martial arts or who are speaking out. I'm not all that comfortable with doing like videos of me kicking and stuff like that. And one of the reasons is that draws a lot of criticism. People like it, but it's, your knee's not in the right spot, your foot's not going where it should. Everybody has a different way of kicking, and I find that, that's always been the downside to me posting videos, although I've had a lot of great views lately and able to talk at the end of the videos and share something about the books or the different things that I'm working on. So John said we need more girls. So I know that there are a lot of girls in the classes nowadays. In my class that I was teaching at the Y, there were half girls, half boys. So, I know that times are changing in that manner. But for people my age, I really don't see a lot of the everyday martial artist out there for the women. If you look on any of the pages or groups, everybody who's commenting, it's a lot of men who are martial artists. The middle-aged men are able to, share, and they're there together and have similar experiences, But I try to interject every now and again and add that little bit of womanhood into the situation. So, and again, I consider myself an everyday martial artist, but I use my skills and talents of martial arts to make a difference through what I have to say. And that's, every martial artist has a talent and has a niche, has a way that they can share their stories. If you're a beginner, you can, think about what you learned and bring it home and try to use some of that mentality in all the other things. That focus maybe helps you study better. That focus helps you move up in the corporation because you're a great worker. There are definite ways that you can connect everything. So Steve worked out last week with a 56-year-old woman, black belt in jiu-jitsu, with a hip replacement. So, that's really awesome. So I just think, think about it when you see a woman on a group. Maybe you can say hi. It doesn't have to be. The other thing that I've talked about before, because I'm also kind of into modesty, I believe in beauty, and I believe in, looking as the best you can. I'm not a big fan of, photos of women doing kicks in little tiny bikinis. I'm just, or the warrior kind of woman thing, because, to me, it doesn't represent. And we as women martial artists don't look like that, and that's really just a sexualization of what you want to see in a woman martial artist. So, for me, I think a woman in a uniform or practicing martial arts in her workout gear is a beautiful woman. And I don't necessarily need or want to see her in some kind of bikini, because I know that the martial art women out there are not training in their bikinis or doing kicks up this high with a little tiny bit of clothing on. So for me, that's one of my pet peeves out there. Oh, Cynthia Rothrock. No, I love Cynthia Rothrock. This is not about her. I think she's fantastic. She's probably the best example of the martial arts woman out there. She is an action movie hero. She's incredible. She's so talented and beautiful. She represents the martial art woman in so many different ways. I think she's really incredible and awesome. I know how old she is, and that's great. Her sense of beauty is wonderful. I'm talking more about advertisements or on the groups. All of a sudden I'll be scrolling through and I'll just see like a half-naked woman doing a kick, and I'm like, who's the audience for this? Because it's not the martial art women out there. Hi Patty, how are you? So anyway, I think these are some great topics because for me, being a positive woman martial artist includes how I present myself. Yes, do I want to be beautiful? Absolutely. Every woman on this planet wants to be beautiful and they want other people to think they're beautiful. Do we want to be sexualized or, seen, as something we're not? Not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? There's a reality and then there's a fantasy. And, we're real people. We have emotions and stuff like that. So when we get, kind of demeaning comments or asked if they, if we want to get married on, some group, which just happened recently. I mean, I want to marry you. I'm like, I'm here to talk about martial arts. So, these are some of the experiences that we have to deal with. Donna's 65 years old. She trains and teaches. Donna Keating. Wonderful woman, wonderful martial artist, absolutely beautiful. So thank you, Donna, for all your support too. I really appreciate it. So yes, I mean, we are out there. There are some real women who are martial artists sharing things on social media, just not a lot of us. And so, I can't say I'm the face of the martial art woman, but I can say that I'm willing to take the risk of putting myself out there with my opinions and see what happens. And, I understand that not everyone's going to agree with me, and I understand that, I have that different sense of maybe how I see the martial art woman, but I think that all of us can agree that man, woman, child, we all in our own ways as martial artists have the opportunity to create a better world by being positive in our words and our actions. And again, being positive does not mean life is going great. That it doesn't mean I'm happy all the time. It doesn't mean that I sit at home just smiling all day. It means that I have ups and downs and I have struggles. And when they come, I'm going to face them with a positive mindset, knowing that if I just keep working through it and I keep pushing through, that in the end, I'm going to persevere and I'm going to be okay. And that's a positive way of thinking about a negative situation. And Karen Eden, yes, Karen Eden is wonderful as well. She's in my book, The Martial Arts Woman. I've written articles for her for a UK magazine as well. I've talked to her many times. She's a great role model. So anyway, this was a great talk. I had an amazing time tonight talking about the power of the positive martial artist. I think that's such a great topic and something that we can all explore, something we can take a little time, maybe 5 minutes, to just think about how we're making a difference. And it could be as small as, am I, being a positive person? Am I smiling at someone who obviously needs a smile? Am I training my students to believe in themselves and to believe in others and to encourage others? Am I doing these very important things? This is how we can create power as the positive martial artist. So that's all that I had in my agenda this evening. Actually went on a little longer than I thought. But I do want to remind you, if you're interested in my books, The Martial Arts Woman, Martial Art Inspirations for Everyone, both available on Amazon. If you've read them, leave a review. I need some reviews on there. It helps people buy the books. And again, my mission is to make the world a better place through positivity and martial arts. And I work on that mission every day in either some small or some big way. But that's what I'm trying to do. And I hope you find your mission and your purpose and how you can help change the world too. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love you all, and I'm so appreciative of all your support and encouragement, and I hope that I can support and encourage you to follow your dreams and passions. So have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.